Thank you, Chairman. Earlier this year, President Trump signed an executive order asserting to give the White House greater control over independent agencies. As both of you know, FERC is a statutorily independent agency with a very clearly defined mandate. So, Ms. Swett, let me start with you. Can you tell me why maintaining FERC's independence is so critical?
Thank you for the question, Senator. Maintaining FERC's independence is critical because that is exactly how Congress created the agency. In the DOE Organization Act of 1978, Congress carved FERC out of DOE's jurisdiction and explicitly provides that no FERC action is under review by anyone at DOE. And thus, as a lawyer who has been practicing FERC law for 15 years, I will always go back to the statute, and that is exactly what Congress directed, and I will not exceed the jurisdiction that Congress has given the agency if I am confirmed.
Mr. Swett, same question.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. First, want to say I certainly am no stranger to the value of the assertion of independence at independent agencies. Having spent time at the CSB as the acting managing director, the acting general counsel, the executive counsel, and the senior advisor to the chairman, I am very familiar with navigating independent agencies. And I think that the independence of FERC is derived from its individual structure via commissioners. Those 5 individuals have an independent voice. And it's important that we nominate people and confirm people that honor that independence and follow the law and apply the facts.
According to EIA data, despite all that we've heard about affordability today, household electric bills are up 10% nationally since the beginning of this administration, in less than a year, actually. Double-digit increase in electric bills. Former Republican FERC Chairman Chatterjee has said that we need every single available electron on the grid. Both of you have referenced the increased demand as a result of data centers and artificial intelligence. Would you agree that in the face of incredible rising demand, probably the greatest demand increase we've seen since the onset of air conditioning, that the grid right now requires more, not less, affordable and reliable energy? Ms. Swett.
Thank you for the question, Senator. I absolutely agree with you that the grid needs more generation and more reliable generation, and that we should do whatever we can to ensure that the lights are on. That said, under the Federal Power Act, Congress has explicitly stated that FERC's mission is to ensure that there is no undue discrimination in the rates that are charged pursuant to its jurisdiction. And I agree with that, of course, per Congress's wisdom. And if I have the honor of being confirmed, I will honor that in every matter that I examine.
Let's take that one step deeper down. Right now, and for the next several years, actually, probably for at least the next 4, 95% of the projects slated to come onto the grid to serve that demand are represented by wind, solar, and battery storage. We don't have, when you look at other generation sources, if they're not already in the queue, things like combined cycle natural gas has a 5-year waiting period for combined cycle natural gas turbines. Nuclear obviously has permitting challenges that oftentimes it takes 10 years to get nuclear generation built. What would the impact be if we, without replacement generation, took that 95% out of the pipeline of oncoming generation?
Thank you for the question, Senator. As a humble lawyer who is not an economist or a scientist, I'm not going to try to guess what the impact of taking that huge amount out of the queue would be. However, it is incredibly important that we thoughtfully ensure that as much generation is available as necessary to meet the unprecedented demand that our country is facing that will rise with every passing year. So I commit to you that if I have the honor of being confirmed, then I will take a hard look at the matters before me, including interconnection, which I understand is under challenge in several federal courts at this time. So I don't want to prejudge anything, but if it comes before me and I am confirmed, then I will do everything I can to work with my colleagues to come to a solution.
I'm not an economist, but as the son of a lineman, I can tell you that if we took that generation out of the pipeline, we would see incredible increasing costs, and that's why I think everyone at this dais is incredibly concerned about that. Mr. Lacerte, can you commit to maintaining FERC's independence and commit that a generator's technology, which traditionally has not been considered when making interconnection decisions, permitting decisions, that FERC will maintain its agnostic approach to generation?
Thank you for the question, Senator. As my potential colleague, Laura, has noted, that under the law, we must remain neutral as it relates to such decisions, and we'll always follow the law.
Mr. Lacerte, the baseline statute, I think that was the word you used, the baseline statute for FERC requires that the chairman and members of the commission shall be individuals who, by demonstrated ability, background, training, or experience, are specially qualified to assess fairly the needs and concerns of all interests affected by federal energy policy. Do I understand it that you have not represented clients before the FERC?
Correct. I have not represented clients before FERC, Senator, and I believe that that is a strength of mine and not a negative. As former Chairman Christie has noted in his swan song departing this commission, that there's a real fear of regulatory capture of FERC. So I think a fresh perspective and a common sense approach amongst one of the 5 members would be a welcome addition.
So you've never signed any pleading on a client's behalf with FERC on any matter?
Correct.
Okay. Describe to me the energy work that you've done at your firm.
Sure. So most of my work is done under the Clean Air Act, predominantly from a focus of safety and environment. I was housed within the energy litigation section of Baker Botts, which is one of the preeminent law firms in Texas which practice energy law. Within the energy litigation group, there's a environmental safety and incident response section, and that would run the gambit all the way up and down the stream of energy, all the way from wellheads to refineries to transportation and pipelines, which is crossover from my time in jurisdiction in the Chemical Safety Board, all the way to specialty chemical refining.
Thank you, Chairman.